With the start of the NFL season fast approaching, it's time to get those preseason future bets in. When it comes to the NFL, everyone loves to predict who will win the Super Bowl, and in the world of sports betting, there's nothing quite like hitting a long shot, a big payout, and picking the eventual Super Bowl winner can be quite profitable. Turning a small investment into a huge payday is every gambler's dream. So which teams have given their backers the biggest payouts in NFL history? Here are the 8 teams with the longest preseason odds to eventually hoist the Lombardi Trophy. In the year 2000, the Baltimore Ravens were led by a historically great defense with Hall of Fame linebacker Ray Lewis. Baltimore had finished the previous season 8-8, and odds makers had the Ravens in the middle of the pack at 22-1 to win the Super Bowl. Baltimore would start the season 5-1, including 3 shutouts by the defense. Baltimore's offense also had a future Hall of Famer in tight end Shannon Sharpe, but the Ravens' offense would struggle to match the play of the defense. After their hot start, the Ravens would have a 5-game streak where they did not score an offensive touchdown. Incredibly, the Ravens would go 2-3 over this stretch and would also lead to a change at the quarterback. Trent Dilfer would replace Tony Banks at quarterback, and the Ravens offense would lean on rookie running back Jamal Lewis to do just enough to help Baltimore finish the season 12-4, which was good enough for a wild card spot. Baltimore would ride their defense to 3 consecutive victories in the playoffs, holding all 3 teams to a combined 16 points. The Ravens would meet the New York Giants in Super Bowl 35, and in one of the more lopsided Super Bowl victories in NFL history, the Ravens defense would dominate the Giants and help the Ravens secure the Lombardi Trophy with a resounding 34-7 victory. The 2007 New York Giants started the season with mediocre expectations after going 8-8 in 2006, losing 7 of the final 9 games. Head coach Tom Coughlin was on the hot seat, and Giants fans were wondering if Eli Manning was the future at quarterback. The Giants would improve to 10-6 in 2007 behind a strong defense and a punishing running game, earning a wild card spot in the playoffs. The Giants would then go on to win 3 consecutive playoff games on the road, beating the Buccaneers 24-14, then beating the top seed and division rival Dallas Cowboys 21-17. Finally, the Giants would win the conference championship against the Green Bay Packers in a frozen Lambeau Field in overtime. And what did the New York Giants get for all this? The chance to face the undefeated New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. The Patriots entered the Super Bowl 18-0 and brought a record-setting offense with both Tom Brady and Randy Moss breaking the passing and receiving touchdown records on the season. In a game where the Giants needed everything to break their way, it did, as the New York defense would harass Brady all game and Eli Manning would do just enough to get the victory. The Giants would defeat the Patriots 17-14, ending New England's chances of a perfect season and cashing those preseason Super Bowl wagers. The Raiders of 1980 were in a transition period to start the season, as owner Al Davis was making plans to move the team from Oakland to Los Angeles. A legal battle between Davis and the league dominated the media headlines, and the team was written off as Super Bowl contenders. After a decade of success during the 1970s, Al Davis was making changes everywhere. Longtime quarterback Ken Stabler was traded for rival QB Dan Pastorini of the Houston Oilers. Pastorini played the first 5 games of the 1980 season, but a leg injury would lead to backup Jim Plunkett getting the ball for the Raiders. The former Heisman Trophy winner and a defense leading the league in turnovers would propel the Raiders to an 11-5 record and a wild card spot in the playoffs. In the first of 3 road playoff games, the Raiders would defeat their former QB Ken Stabler and the Houston Oilers, with the defense getting 2 interceptions off of their former quarterback. Then Oakland would survive 14-12 over the Cleveland Browns. In a game played in 0-degree temperatures, Oakland would clinch the victory with a game-saving interception in the end zone. Next, Oakland would win a shootout against Dan Fouts and the Chargers in San Diego, 34-27, to win the AFC Championship. The Oakland Raiders would then face off against the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 15, and Plunkett would orchestrate an MVP performance, throwing 3 touchdowns and no turnovers. Rod Martin would have 3 interceptions of Eagles quarterback Ron Jaworski and a dominant performance by Oakland's defense. The Raiders would win the game 27-10, winning Oakland their second Lombardi trophy. The 1982 NFL season will forever have an asterisk next to it, as this season was shortened due to a player strike. The teams would play the first 2 weeks of the season before the games came to a halt. Eventually, the players would return, but teams would only play 9 of the 16-game schedule, so the NFL would enact a 16-team playoff tournament to determine the postseason matchups. The Redskins were not considered a playoff team to start the season, but would thrive after the strike ended, finishing with an 8-1 regular season record. Washington would be the top seed and would make easy work of their playoff opponents, with an average margin of victory of 19 points during the playoffs. The Redskins, led by Joe Theismann at quarterback, would meet the Miami Dolphins in Super Bowl 17. Washington would ride the success of the playoffs and running back John Riggins to victory, defeating Miami 27-17, finishing the season with a 12-1 record. After a decade-long playoff drought, the 1981 San Francisco 49ers under head coach Bill Walsh would end the regular season with an incredible 13-3 record and win the NFC West Division. Led by Joe Montana at quarterback, the 49ers would begin developing the West Coast offense that would be a staple for the remainder of the decade. On the defense, a rookie and future Hall of Famer Ronnie Lott would help establish a strong defensive unit that would help the 49ers' transformation to a winning team. The 1981 49ers defense would only allow more than 20 points 3 times during the regular season. In the first playoff game, the 49ers would beat an up-and-coming New York Giants team with a rookie named Lawrence Taylor, 38-24. The next playoff game would be against the Dallas Cowboys and would end 28-27 after the famous catch between Joe Montana and tight end Dwight Clark. The victory over their bitter rival would catapult the team into the Super Bowl, where they would meet the AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals. In a game of 2 halves, the 49ers would lead 20-0 at halftime. The Bengals would come back and have a chance to take the lead. The 49ers defense would stop the Bengals on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line to preserve the victory 26-21. The win would be the first Super Bowl victory in the San Francisco 49ers franchise history. The New England Patriots dynasty and the legend of Tom Brady officially began during the 2001 season. The Patriots began the season with All-Pro Drew Bledsoe at quarterback, but during the second game, Bledsoe was injured on a vicious hit by Mo Lewis. Tom Brady would enter the game, but the Patriots would lose, starting the season off 0-2. Brady and the Patriots would rebound from the slow start and finish the regular season 11-5, winning the division title. Coach Belichick would name Tom Brady the starter going into the playoffs. The Patriots would face the Raiders in a snowstorm in Foxborough and would survive in overtime 16-13 in what would become known as the Tuck Rule game. The following week, Brady would start again, but Bledsoe would come to the rescue when Tom went down with an injury against the Steelers. Bledsoe would lead the Patriots to a 24-17 win in Pittsburgh to win the AFC Championship. Tom Brady would return for the Super Bowl, where the Patriots were heavy underdogs to the St. Louis Rams in the greatest show on turf. The game would be a back-and-forth battle as both teams would make big plays. And with 90 seconds to play and tied at 17, Tom Brady would lead the Patriots on a game-winning drive. Adam Vinatieri would make a 48-yard field goal as time expired, and the Patriots would upset the St. Louis Rams, winning the franchise's first Lombardi trophy. The Philadelphia Eagles of 2017 were not considered a Super Bowl contender after finishing the previous year 7-9, but would finish the 2017 regular season 13-3. Quarterback Carson Wentz led an explosive offense and was having an MVP caliber season, but week 14, Carson would suffer a season-ending knee injury. Nick Foles would replace Wentz at quarterback and help the Eagles secure a first-round bye and home field heading into the playoffs. The Eagles would win a tight game at home against the Falcons 15-10. The Eagles defense would stop Atlanta on 4th and goal to secure the victory. The following week, Philly would completely demolish the Vikings 38-7 to win the NFC Championship and punch their ticket to the Super Bowl. The Eagles would face the New England Patriots in what became one of the more entertaining Super Bowls in recent memory. In a game with plenty of scoring, each team would take turns with the lead. Philadelphia would win 41-33, outlasting New England. Nick Foles would have an MVP performance, and the defense would make enough plays to defeat Tom Brady and the Patriots. Head coach Doug Peterson would help win their first Lombardi trophy in Philadelphia Eagles history. The 1999 St. Louis Rams were not expected to challenge for the championship, having finished the previous season with a 4-12 record. St. Louis had a new offensive coordinator in Mike Martz and a free agent quarterback in Trent Green. The Rams were hoping to break their decade-long playoff drought when their new quarterback Trent Green suffered a season-ending knee injury during the preseason. The Rams would turn to a little-known backup named Kurt Warner, and the Hollywood story would begin. Warner would set an NFL record with 3 touchdown passes in his first 4 career starts, would lead what became the greatest show on turf offense to 30 or more points in 12 games, and win the league MVP. The Rams would finish the season with a 13-3 record, winning the West Division and a first-round bye. St. Louis would face another historic offense in the Minnesota Vikings in the first playoff game. The game would become a shootout, and when the dust settled, the Rams would be victorious 49-37. Then St. Louis would face a historic defense in the Tampa Bay Bucks, and in a hard-fought battle would win a slugfest 11-6. Kurt Warner and the Rams would end the season winning one of the closest Super Bowls in history against the Tennessee Titans. The Rams defense would hold the Titans out of the end zone by 1 yard as time expired. The St. Louis Rams would win the game 23-16, completing the miracle season and becoming the longest preseason odds to win the Lombardi Trophy at 150-1. So there you have it, 8 of the biggest preseason long shots to win the NFL championship. The 2023 NFL season is right around the corner, so who do you think can win this year's championship? Will it be another long shot? Leave your picks in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more football content. Starting August 24th, Dead Money Sports will be releasing the NFL Future shows for this season, including who DMS likes to win this year's Super Bowl. Go to deadmoneysports.com to get access to all the upcoming season's football content.